Hey guys, welcome to Alex Goes Coconuts. Today I'm going to show you how to make a lemon cranberry cake. Now this is a really easy cake for the holidays. It has a super pretty presentation, but it's really fuss-free. And that's why I love it if I'm hosting the next day. You can make it a day ahead and just leave it on your counter and the next day glaze it before your guests arrive. Now this cake is a great cake to make during the holidays or even in the winter season when fresh fruits are not that available. Cranberries are always in season at this time of year, so why not make a bundt cake with some fresh cranberries? Now if you can't find fresh cranberries, you can go ahead and use frozen cranberries. They work just as well. Okay guys, so I've already gone ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The next step would be to grease a bundt pan like this. Now, because I'm using a rubber bundt pan, you don't need to grease it because it's basically non-stick. But if you're using a metal bundt pan, definitely you need to grease it and make sure that those fruit don't stick at the bottom of the pan. So the first step is that you're gonna take your bundt pan, really simple. You're gonna take 1/3 of packed brown sugar. Pack it in there and make sure there's really 1/3 of a cup. And we're gonna sprinkle that at the bottom of our bundt pan. Now using your fingers, just distribute the sugar evenly at the bottom of your bundt pan, like so. So here I'm using about 12 ounces of cranberries. Just spread them at the bottom of the pan evenly. Next, we're gonna go ahead and prepare the batter of the cake to spread over the cranberries. Okay, Hunter, seriously, you're driving me nuts? Yeah, you are? So the first thing we're gonna need is 2.5 cups of white flour. Now this is just regular all-purpose flour. That's 2.5. There you go. Next, we're gonna need 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. That's 1, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Next, we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And lastly, we'll add 1 teaspoon of salt. Now with a whisk, we're just gonna combine all of the flour, the baking soda, the baking powder, and the salt. Okay, so for the next step, we're gonna need a bowl. So I'm just gonna use the bowl of my electric mixer here. Inside the bowl, I have 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And to that, I'm gonna add the zest of 2 lemons that I went ahead and already zested this morning. So what you want to do is take that lemon zest and mix it into that sugar with your fingers. So go ahead and rub it in with your hands. There you go. By mixing it into the sugar, we're infusing all that lemon oil into the sugar itself to really go get the maximum flavor. So you can see flecks of the lemon zest inside the sugar. It already smells delicious and very lemony. It's so good. So that's exactly what you want before you add the wet ingredients to the sugar. To this lemon sugar, we're gonna go ahead and add 12 tablespoons of butter at room temperature. Now this is unsalted butter and it's about 1.5 sticks of butter. So you can go ahead and add that. So you wanna make sure the butter's already softened, it's already at room temperature. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on medium-high. Okay, so we beat the butter until it was light and fluffy for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now we're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So to this butter and sugar mixture, we're gonna add 1 egg at a time. Now these are large eggs, and we're gonna put this on medium and go ahead and break 1 egg at a time. 1. 3. And you want to make sure you scrape down the edge of the bowl to make sure that all the sugar and eggs and butter mixture is all well incorporated. Okay, so the next step is to take 1/3 cup of buttermilk. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, all you have to do is take 1 cup of milk and add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and just let it sit on your counter, and it will produce the same effect as buttermilk. If you don't want to do that, you can also use yogurt as an alternative, and that'll work just as well in this recipe. But here I'm using 3/4 cups of buttermilk, and to this buttermilk I'm going to be adding half the juice of a lemon. So this is going to come and give me a nice acidity, and it's going to counterbalance that sweetness really well. There you go. Just mix that in. Now what we want to do is alternate the liquid and the dry mixture into this batter. So we're gonna start and end with the flour mixture. So let's turn this on low, and we're gonna slowly add 1/3 of this flour mixture to the cake. There you go. Then we're gonna pour 1/3 of our buttermilk in. Perfect. Now another 1/3 of the flour. And you want to mix this just until it's combined. You don't want to over-mix the flour because it's going to give you a really tough cake batter. That looks just about ready there. And we're going to scrape down the edges of the bowl. So we'll get the bottom of the bowl, make sure there's no flour pockets there. Okay, so now that our batter is ready and it's a nice thick batter here, we're gonna spoon some of this batter over this cranberry mixture. So just take dollops of it and try to cover the cranberries as much as possible. I'll just take my spatula here and smooth out the top to make a nice flat bottom for when I flip over my cake. Now we're gonna bake this for 50 to 55 minutes. We're gonna pull it out, and then we're gonna let it cool on a cooling rack. All right guys, so this cooled down for about 15 minutes now. I'm just gonna run a knife along the edge to make sure that my cake is not sticking to the actual pan. Same thing in the middle here. Now it's time to flip our cake. So we're gonna take our platter and our cake, flip it over, slowly pull up. Hopefully this is gonna work. Perfect. So we'll let this cool completely, and then after that we're gonna glaze it and we're gonna serve a piece. Okay, so now we're gonna prepare the glaze for the cake. Now we'll need 1 cup of confectioner's sugar. So measure that out into a small bowl. 1 cup. And then we're gonna use lemon juice. Now, I use the juice of 1 lemon. You wanna get this mixture nice and smooth to glaze the cake, but not too liquidy. So we're gonna whisk the lemon juice slowly into the confectioner's sugar. We're gonna add a bit more lemon. Okay, a bit more of that lemon juice. Better to go in smaller batches like this until you get a nice thick liquid than to add it too quickly and then have it, you know, too liquidy. You could always add confectioner's sugar if you do mess up and you get it too liquidy, but this is the kind of consistency we want. So a nice thick ribbons to make a nice white glaze on the cake. Okay, so now we're gonna take our cake, and using our whisk, we're just gonna come and get some of this liquid and glaze on this beautiful, beautiful lemon glaze. Look at how pretty that is. A beautiful cranberry ring with a beautiful glaze on top. It's really the perfect cake while you're hosting. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this one, and leave me a comment down below if you have any questions. Bye!